I'd like to call to order the Beaver County Board of Commissioners work session for Wednesday, January 6, 2021. We have a review of work session discussion meeting minutes. No change? No. Oh, nothing. All right. Department head report.
I'll just revisiting something with, we spoke a few months back about two of the outhouses that are Great Run Park. They're just pit toilets. There was two of them that were taking on a lot of infiltration, and we have to get them cleaned out quite often. Basically, rainwater coming in. So you gave us permission to go ahead and tear two of them out. We got the one done. I just wanted to let you know the next one. The handicap fishing one. We'll be taking that out, and it's actually the time because the contract for the equipment is supposed to run out and now we can add to the contract to cover the loss of
I'm good. Well, anything else?
I did.
You guys, Wayne raised it.
I wanted just to let you know that the new tax bills have gone out for 2021.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm the most hated person to be with anyway. So we're in the discount period and it runs from January 4th to the 5th of March. And there are some changes to the 2021 tax bill. They're mostly minor, and they came about with our conversations with Tyler and the programming. And we're trying to work through some of the hurdles building in with the new program. One of the changes is no partial payments will be accepted. This came about because when you pay, say your bill is $300, you pay $100 in discounts, $100 in base, and $100 in penalty. There's a discrepancy of how much you're actually totally owed. So eliminating the partial payments was the easiest thing to do for the county in the program. No personal checks will be accepted after the 17th. And that the tax period ends on December the 31st. So this is, the reason that this is happening is because after the 17th of December, if you write a check to the county and it bounces and we roll you over, there's a problem with it coming back. And unpaid taxes, they will roll over on the 31st of December. And I've also added our phone number and assessment phone number as a means of contacting the county for questions about the tax bill. At the bottom of the tax bill, we've also added a place where you can put your phone number and email so that that's additional means for the county to get hold of you in case you need questions. That's another thing that's going to be built into this pilot program moving forward. And then also, the checks made payable to, I added Beaver County Treasurer Sandy Egley instead of just the treasurer's name. I had to kind of go back on a promise that I made, the checks made out to just the county. COVID has changed the way my office runs, and for security purposes, I chose to write Beaver County Treasurer Sandy Egley. That's because the way that we function now in our office has changed. And for security purposes, I felt that it was appropriate to add my name to that instead of just Beaver County.
Yeah, I just have a few questions, only because this was brought to our attention and you covered it about the rollover going to tax claim. I guess first I'm going to ask our board to look at potentially waiving any fees and interest that would be charged to our residents from January 1 to April, the old time. We did, March 31st, I think it was. We did sign off on that, and I think it was something I overlooked because obviously there's someone who emailed a little complaint on, now it's in tax claim, we have fees and extra costs. So that's just something I look at doing, if we could look at here in the next couple of weeks to get with Kevin Macklin in the office. I guess the next question is, from January 1 to January 17th, you'll still be collecting checks?
No, it will end on the 31st. I will roll it over. We'll have that two-week period that we're going to be rolling over from January 1st to the 17th because that's fine.
So,
I think someone has to be able to collect during that period of time. And until it's rolled over to officially to the assessment office, it's probably still going to have to be collected in their office. Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I just want to make sure because there's
This is really the date for 2022.
Correct.
Yeah, this is for the we're talking about January 2020.
yes.
Oh, I see. What you're
I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
For this coming year.
Yeah, we're saying rollover.
So January, like the new tax bill is December 31st. I guess based on here, it says December through December 31st, before they get turned into the assessment from January 21, but from January 1 to January 17th.
January 1,
Where will people pay their taxes?
There has to be a place for them to pay their taxes. Kevin can't collect them until they're filed in his office, so that's, and to your point, we can talk about
Yeah.
that, but that's the concern. Somebody has to be able to pay their taxes somewhere.
Oh. Is that how you thought that it went? There would be no place for you to pay your taxes between that period of time?
Well, I just want to make sure if somebody comes into your office on January 5th of 2022, will you accept their taxes?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
Oh,
absolutely.
probably not.
will you accept it by check then?
Yeah.
The taxes for 2021 are due by December the 31st. 2021, after December 31st, you have to go to tax claim.
That's what we're saying is somebody has to collect from January 1 to January 17th.
Kevin's office can't accept payment on taxes in his office yet. And I believe what you're saying is they'll be rolled over into his office on the 17th.
But we're going to collect, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. So we're collecting until the 17th.
Okay,
That they're going to be going to tax claim.
Okay.
We're collecting, yeah, in your office. Yes.
Okay, and we'll shore that up after.
I just want to make sure there's no hiccups when that time comes. Any other questions?
No.
Dan or Wayne? I knew somebody else raised their hand.
I have a new question junior coming, on the 14th, which is next Thursday. So it's very possible that you will not be able to put any US mail or pre-sort out that day. And I will make
She's a
sure
fan,
that
right?
the person
No.
knows that, there's training and installation that'll have to go in, that day. Hopefully it's only gonna take 8 days, but I just want
All right.
Wait, is there a chance to go on Friday?
there is, we're hoping not.
I'm going to check.
Yeah.
You can do one day.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to solicitor's report.
It's 2021, but unfortunately COVID's still with us. We put HR put in a bunch of policies in 2020, mostly based off the Family First Coronavirus Act that applied for 2020. A lot of that act was, a part of that act, I guess I should say, gave nurse and responder employees as defined by the act 10 paid days off. So we put in policies throughout the year sort of working around that. Being that the act expired in December, they had to put a new COVID pay policy in for 2021. What my office and HR came up with was a proposal that, based on some of the feedback that we got from employees throughout the year, there's some changes that we've done in this policy. What the policy does is, very briefly, one of the issues we heard from people was, in a lot of the collective bargaining agreement contracts, employees earn their sick days throughout the year, meaning that you get a certain amount of hours that goes to your sick time. If an individual had to use sick time at the beginning of the year due to COVID or testing positive, they may not necessarily have sick days to utilize. So what we put in the new policy is, in a situation where an individual doesn't have any banked sick time and they collect their sick days throughout the year based on the pay period, if an individual were to test positive in that scenario, we would allow that person to dip into their sick bank and essentially get an advance on their sick days for 2021. Talking to payroll about that, they understand the logistics of it. They feel that they would be able to monitor that throughout the year. And if for whatever reason an employee were to leave early, we would just deduct whatever amount of sick days that they were advanced from their final paycheck. The second issue that came up was, there were some employees who mentioned that whenever they were told to quarantine as a result of county contact tracing, they did not want to be forced to use their accrual time. Some of these employees had previously scheduled vacation time or days off that they wanted to use that otherwise they were using as a result of being quarantined due to a contact tracing at work. In that scenario, what we're proposing is that if an individual wants to, they can go leave without pay for 5 working days. In that scenario, if they're being asked to quarantine as a result of county contact tracing, that would be up to the employee whether they want to use their sick time and get paid, or whether they want to go leave without pay for up to 5 days and not get paid. Those were the two main changes in it. We did send that out to all the employees yesterday. Have you got any feedback yet, Sid, on it? I haven't heard anything either, so.
We're doing a fine job, keep it up.
That's what we're going to put in place now. As always, we'll monitor and see how it goes, and if we need to make any adjustments. So.
I mean, at least there's an option for people. It's a very tough situation.
Yeah.
Even with very few PTO days and
I was talking,
vacation and everything
We've had
else.
to go backwards all last year.
Yeah.
Until we get through this.
I was talking to Garen last night briefly about it. I said, the only other option is, and what we don't want to do is Lawrence County just furloughed another 35 employees. It's,
A lot of people don't want anything.
they are letting their employees that they furlough keep their health insurance, but, they said they can't keep putting salaries on the backs of taxpayers when they're not working. So, I think
Yeah, we've been successful in navigating this path up to this point. Hopefully, it can continue that way. The other thing I wanted just to touch base on, if we're done with that issue, is the reassessment. I did speak with Kevin in the assessment office. They are continuing to work through the data collection. He gave me a breakdown of how many residential areas that they've done. I have this list here if anyone wants to see it. This is as of December, so this is the most updated. He said he was meeting with them next week. We'll probably have a more updated list. Some big municipalities where they haven't gone out to yet, which will be coming here in the coming months: Aliquippa, Brighton Township, Hopewell, North Swickley Township, Rochester Township, Center Township. Those are some of the bigger municipalities that they have not gotten to yet. How this is working is that they're doing internal data collection, and they're also physically going out to the properties as well too. And the ones that I just rattled off there are some of the bigger municipalities where they have not physically gone out to the properties yet. He said he's being told that they're still on pace to finish this data collection sometime here, probably late spring, early summer, and move on from the process from there. What's moving on from the process from there is them gathering all the information and then starting to calculate what the actual assessed value is going to be for each of the properties.
On schedule as far as the court order was concerned.
It's also good because I know we've gotten inquiries from the press. And that Kevin has been on KDK and telling people just to remind them that they will never request to enter the new home. If somebody shows up trying to do a reassessment, claiming
They want to come in your home.
Call the police.
Call the police.
Call the police,
And
yeah.
they're identified.
They're identified, they have a badge, they will identify themselves, they're only asking questions and might do some measurements outside of the structure, but they will never ask to come inside. I do have two matters for executive session regarding personnel and a litigation matter.
Any questions for the law department? All right, commissioners, I just have, well, Sandy covers the tax thing, carpet update, Tanner,
They're on schedule, should be probably another 2 weeks. We've had some public, so it's taking a little long. But they're moving along. We'll do walkthroughs as completed.
Why would they put two frayed carpets? Damaged, why would they do that?
We'll be addressing that in the law.
Down by a fence.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
downstairs there's problems also, right?
Yeah, yeah, so we'll do a walkthrough with Franklin before that crew leaves.
the courts, are they gonna be working on the weekend, we're thinking?
I'm gonna suggest that'd be the best method, and I'll reach out to the sheriffs to see if we can have a deputy here, just so they can work.
Paving, I know we discussed it last year, probably last meeting or 2 meetings ago. Is this something we could work on getting an RFP out? And obviously, I know the numbers that we had last time were significantly high, but that's just, you know, the cost of doing business in the paving industry. It's something we don't have to accept if we don't want to. So I don't know if it's possible for a RFP to go out as one big project, but also a second part of it, have them separated so we can, if we want to pick and choose the worst. Dan, you said the county parking lot here, ice arena, the jail, and the magistrate buildings. So, you know, obviously the bigger the project, probably the better price.
Two things I've learned in my 24 years as a supervisor, paving, either you bid it out real early or you bid it out late.
Yeah.
To get the best price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, and I know they can't start, we want to get on their list,
March, whenever.
but can RFP be done both ways? So if it comes back,
We had alternates.
Yeah, there's other alternates that we put in. Who normally does our, normally there's specifications that you want to see in the actual,
Tammy, huh?
would it be Tammy or?
Well, yeah, Tammy and I will work with it.
Okay.
This is something I know we want to try to keep the cost down as much as we can. And I don't know that, you know, if on parking lots, things of that nature, that the specifications would be so stringent as it would be a road. But I'm wondering if this is something I have to check with Tammy on. I don't know how we're planning on funding this stuff. If it's going to be funded through a liquid fuels type thing or something that might require an engineer.
I don't think any of the plate would qualify under any liquid fuels money. So we looked at doing the ice arena parking lot, it didn't qualify because it wasn't.
It's not technically a road.
So it'll probably be general fund money.
Liquid fuels, I think.
Yeah, I think if you use tourism.
Tourism for, you know, so there'll be different, yeah, so I don't
Yeah, I
think,
don't think it would be liquid fuel.
yeah, so. Yeah, get with Tammy, if you could start working on that, and I know Wayne's part of that process with you. Just, you know, maybe we get something out because a lot of them need that.
Wayne and I are working together. I received information from both Blackhawk High School and Central Valley High School, who recently did their tennis court renovation. So I let Wayne get through the tax period. So early February, we're going to sit down. and get some bid out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll be getting the bid out.
Thanks, Dan. The only other thing I have is, District Attorney Lozier reached out to the board, either Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve about, vaccines for our first responders in Beaver County. I could tell you, I reached out to Heritage Valley. Heritage Valley is working with Eric Brewer now and Chief Gall with the detectives. They kind of split up responsibilities. Chief Gall is reaching out to the police departments. Eric is taking care of the fire departments. Our paramedics and EMS's companies have already been vaccinated in Beaver County, the ones that serve Beaver County. So now they're working on getting a spreadsheet of police officers. I don't know if municipalities are mandating, I don't know the situation, but they're asking, they gave them basically a form with all their contact information. And then off of that form, it'll get put into the Heritage Valley's database, and then they will contact them to get the vaccine. So that's for the first responders. I think that's what they're going to start seeing. I don't know how many doses that Heritage Valley has, but it seems to be from the conversation with Heritage Valley that the next round of vaccines that are coming in will be to the first responders because they've already taken care of the employees at their facility that they had.
They're employed, but also long-term care staff and residents will also supposed to be that first round.
From my understanding is these,
They were supposed to be one.
yeah, but I think from my understanding is these long-term care facilities are getting their own vaccines. Yeah, well, I don't know if they are.
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Let's face it, the communication has been
Yeah.
ideal with this whole.
But I think
whole process.
from Heritage Valley's standpoint, they're not going to be vaccinating a nursing home or long-term care facilities residents. I think it's up to the facility to, I think, at least that's what my understanding is, at least in Allegheny County with I know the Kane Nursing Home, they just had, the state sent them doses for each resident and each employee, and they administer them at so I'm not sure.
That's the other thing I had written down is, they see the chief executive from Allegheny County on TV explaining this all the time. And people call me, I'm sure you
Yeah,
guys
we
are
got a
getting
couple
on.
emails.
But are we gonna get any information on when they're moving from 1A to 1B or to 2? Or, because people, they're asking me, how do we get signed up? I said, I have no information at all concerning. It's right now, the only thing I know is what's happening at Heritage Valley, and our chairman is in communication with one entry. And we only get the information as it comes to us.
Well, I'm getting calls from utility companies saying, hey, we respond, we're essential, we're first, how do we get, and
We're not in that
I
loop.
don't have that influence, and input into the system, so. I don't know if there's a role we can play through our website or something on where to direct people, but from Harrisburg to Heritage Valley, there's a lot of moving parts here, and I don't know if,
When this is all said and done, this is all over. We got to bring back that concept of getting a health department so that we are in charge.
Washington County called again about 2 weeks ago. They're not ready to discuss it yet, but they want to make sure it's not forgotten because I think,
got the 600-page bill and have a form on.
yeah.
Still sitting on my desk, it's.
I don't know if maybe we're gonna try to reach out to the governor's office and say we're getting asked a lot of questions regarding this, if they can give us some insight.
It's a timeline.
Which getting some information from
I can
emergency management.
reach out to the governor's office and see what their recommendation is, and they might say reach out to
Sometimes
your
we'll just have a
hospital.
contact with-
We got that real thick packet. It breaks it all down. But the communication lines are coming through so that we can communicate to our constituents what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and to be clear, I'm not blaming anybody, but
No.
it's very confusing right now for the general public and for people that think they qualify for this first round that haven't been contacted and don't know who to contact or how to get in the system. So, and even what you just said about the nursing homes, I didn't know if they were getting.
I don't know. If they
Individually
all-
or
I know
not.
the one in Allegheny County, they're all on the news just last night. They had, I think they said 102 of their residents were vaccinated, 80 of their staff members, and then the next wave that they're getting, there's like 10 more residents, and then 4 more staff members have refused it the first time or now changed their mind and they want to get it. So that was administered at the actual facility. Where here, I know, for instance, Director Brewer got his vaccine yesterday.
Yeah.
And he got it because he's a paramedic with Economy ambulance, I think it's, and they, so he went through that, and he said, he filled this the same exact form out that they're having the firefighters about a week ago. They contacted him via phone and email, and they set up a time. He drove to the hospital, went right in 5 minutes, they gave it to him, he left. Yeah, he said it was a great system, but it's just a matter of,
No, make you stay,
no,
you want to stay for 20 minutes?
just like going to get a flu shot. So, that's all I have, so.
No, I just wanted to bring up the carpet and the vaccine and the roof. Are they able to do anything on the roof?
Well, they haven't been able to over the holidays and, with the snow that we've had, but there's trucks out there. We have, scheduled for a progress meeting today at 2:00. So I'll have more updates, but, over the holidays with the snow, things like that, nothing has been. They're saying no, it's not, drastic, -0 temperatures and stuff like that. They're saying, that, as long as it gets, it's dried out, and they have methods to help speed that process up of drying things out. They should be able to continue.
Just a couple of things. I think I do another food bank distribution Saturday, the 9th from 11 to 1 p.m. at Pathway Church, in Chippewa. Same process. They can do 100 cars, 50 kinds of food, food distribution. And I was pleased. I did reach out to Holly, and there were 23 submissions for the education center at Brady's Run. So there's a lot of details work through there. She's asked if we want to participate. I told her I certainly would love to be part of the process as we move forward with that. I think that's going to be a nice addition to the county, a nice amenity when we get through that process. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, she forwarded to me after the fact, so she put it on. I did see it.
And then the last thing is, obviously, we're formally going to put out the announcement on some of the personnel changes that we have. I know previously we had talked about Lisa Signora retiring from community development, and Martin Landrum will take over as the director there. But we've also finished the process, the interview process, human resources, and we've decided that Sid can't retire. And she'll be with us another no. But that Sid will be retiring, and Tammy James will be replacing Sid as the director of human resources. And starting actually Monday, and shadowing Glory Menditti, who will officially be leaving in March, is Corey Superline. And Corey will become the new director of the Board of Elections, replacing Glory, but there's a lot of transition and job knowledge that needs to be transferred there. So we certainly welcome Corey. And also everybody else in the new role, so we'll be putting him.
Yeah, I used to get executive session.
I do.
Any other business? Audience participation. All right, any reason to reconvene from executive session? We will move into executive session, not reconvene. Thank you.
Okay, I know.